Hi everybody and welcome to soccermag.com. I'm Kevin Ferguson, or otherwise known as the Moneyman, and I've got Dylan Johnson, otherwise known as Moneyball. I call him that because of his statistical understanding of football and the other things that, well, there's not many other things. We're coming into the last two games, three for some teams of the season. Still up for grabs, Arsenal, Man City.
It's close.
Really?
I still think City are going to take it, though.
Yeah.
But
Look, it's their serve to drop, right? But you never know. You never know. Even Liverpool have a shot, eh? As long as the other two teams lose every game.
There's a universe somewhere, if we even live in infinite universes, where Liverpool somehow win the title, but not going to happen.
But the Premier League is such a rich league. We were just chatting about it off air. 80 million pounds. Now, how much is that in rand? What's that? 1.6 billion?
Yeah.
For every single team in there, whether you finish first or last. First gets, 61 million? 0.3? And then it goes down in increments of 3.1.
Yeah.
So everybody's still, a lot of teams still have something to play for if you consider 3.1 million or 6.2 million a lot of money. Yeah. And believe me, their chairman and their coaches will think that that's a lot of money.
I mean, for City, that's probably 1 week, 2 weeks of Haaland's wages, so it's probably not much for them. But.
Oh, I do love you. So let's look at, you look at the last place team even gets 3.1. Did the woke brigade set this thing up?
It's the participation. Everyone deserves something for participating.
Yeah, and they do. 3.1 million pounds for participation. Jeez. But that's the golden parachute. The TV rights, 80 million pounds. I'm sure that's going up at some stage.
Probably.
I think they're looking at capping I know they're looking at capping and coming in, because I think the whole fair play thing has just been a disaster.
Agreed. It's very outdated. I think that the premise I still agree with, but I think they made the original rules in 2013, and that was when 40 million pounds on a player was obscene. Now you have bottom of the log team spending that on a player, so and it's outdated.
It's outdated, but I wonder if it's going to be a caveat to get Man City off its thing, because in theory, we talk about this all the time. Maybe we're beating the drum a bit too much, but Arsenal should have already won the league. Man City should be docked some points, according to everybody that has an opinion about it. When will that happen?
I think they said the hearing... actually, they always say it's happening soon.
But this thing's been going on for how long now?
I think they officially charged them at the start of last year or the end of 2022.
So this could affect 2 seasons.
I think if all the charges stick, if let's be honest, 115, it's unlikely they'll all stick. But I mean, it was over a decade's worth of doping. I'm sure that it'll affect. I'm sure the punishment will be severe.
Well, let's hope so, because if it was abused, it should be severe. If they're held to a different standard than every other team's competing in that league, they should be.
I think the biggest problem, though, is that now City have been able to almost, because of their obviously alleged cheating, they've built a foundation that they can be sustainable forever now, with their academy being as good as it is, selling players like Cole Palmer. They don't need to, cheat the books anymore, because they've completely set themselves up. I think that's the problem, is that no matter what punishment they get, they've given themselves that advantage now where it's difficult to really take that away. They won't really suffer much.
Look, I think that one, I don't know the ins and outs of it. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but when you own a major airline that's your sponsor, And,
Yeah.
You know, look, I can't wait. I hope it comes because the Premier League's got a bit of a shroud over it with this, you know. How do you deal with Everton so quickly and have Man City just the top of the table, not being dealt with? I mean, come on, I asked the Premier League to get on with it and stop the fucking around. Okay, let's get into the last Fulham Man City up. Not the team you want to go away to. It's not Fulham are decent at home.
Yeah.
It's such an intimate venue. But who would bet against Man City?
Not me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not you. What's your thoughts on the game?
I think that Man City have found their form now. I think they've scored. I mean, they scored 5 in their last game, but I think over their past 3 or 4 games, they're averaging 3 or 4 goals a game.
Yeah, they're having 3. They scored 9.
Sorry?
I said they're averaging 3 goals a game. They've scored 9.
Yeah. And I think Fulham, they have nothing really to play for, even though they're good. They're decent at home. I don't think they're pretty much in that mid-table region between relegation and European football. I think they can't really move up much higher or much lower.
Well, a win by Fulham probably takes them above Wolves, takes them above Brighton. That's £6.2 million.
I don't think Fulham will look at it at that.
Could you sign a water boy for £6.2 million now?
If it's Rossi, maybe.
Okay.
Touche. I think that the Fulham players probably aren't really thinking about those things.
Well, doesn't that make them more dangerous, though, when you're not really under pressure? I mean, the pressure's purely on Man City to hold serve, you know? And these games, I've seen them happen all the time, where a bad bounce, they score, 10 men behind, 11 men behind the ball, and, we've seen games with 30-odd shots and no breaches of the net. So anything is possible.
It definitely is possible, but I see Man City winning this 3-0. I see them comfortably winning.
Well, it's hard to bet against Man City, but I'm going to say not 3. I'm going to say 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah? So we're in agreement. Bournemouth, Brentford, both safe. Nothing to play for other than a few £1 million. Both sides.
I like this game because it's 2.02 for Bournemouth home win. So I think I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win, 2-1.
2.0 for Bournemouth win. Yeah, it's hard to argue with that as well. I mean, 2 pretty evenly matched teams, but Bournemouth probably at home. We know that football has the best home advantage in any sport. So for me, I'm going to go 2-1 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Everton versus Sheffield United. Everton have been in good form. 3 wins and a draw in the last 4.
I think, though, that this will play out similarly to the Luton-Everton game last week, where if Everton are safe now, I think they,
Well, they literally have nothing to play for other than, again, £3.1 million because if Brentford overtake them, they fall back.
But I do think Sheffield are terrible, and they've already been relegated.
You think Sheffield are terrible? Let me confirm that with some stats. 26 losses, 100 goals against, 65 goal difference, and they haven't won since Lincoln freed the slaves. So they're terrible.
I'm going to go for 2-0 Everton win. Yeah,
I like 2-0. I like it as well. I don't know whether I'm being accommodating simply because there's not much to play for other than Man City and a few European things. Newcastle, Brighton. What are the odds on this? Because this is you brought. I know Newcastle have a few injuries, but
so it's 4.7 for Brighton away win.
Yeah.
And 1.64 for Newcastle home win.
It's not that great.
Then 4.9 for a draw.
Yeah, look, Brighton have been.
They beat Aston Villa last week.
Look, they were punching. Well, last year they did well. You know, they're how a football club should be run, well run. 11th place. What does that get them? 34 million pounds for finishing
Roughly,
11th.
so,
Yeah, that's pretty good. Only won 1 in 5. Newcastle put Burnley to the sword, but who doesn't? Sheffield United. So I don't know how much to read into that. Yeah, look, they don't. They don't give up much goals. I like Newcastle to win this game 2-1.
I agree. I think Newcastle have started playing much better now.
Yeah,
I think Isak's in good form. I can see them. I'm going to go 3-2. I can see Brighton going for it.
Look, they can still finish 6th, Newcastle, the place they're in.
Europa League will be good for them.
Yeah, because you know it's not the Holy Grail, is it? So you can.
But I think considering where they were at one point, they'll be very happy with the top 6.
Yeah. Tottenham Burnley. Burnley are competitive, but they're shite.
Yeah.
So
maybe they'll score a goal, but
I'm looking at a 3-0 Tottenham win here.
I think 3-1, just because Spurs' also defense has not been great recently.
No.
So yeah, and I think Burnley have it's probably not going to happen, but they have a small chance. Their chance of survival is pretty much the same as Liverpool's chance of winning the title. So maybe, you never know.
Okay. West Ham, Luton. Luton have everything to play for, though in reality they're 11 points worse off in goal difference with Nottingham.
Yeah.
So they've got to get 4 more points than so they've got to win and draw and hope that Nottingham.
I think they'll put up a fight, but I think West Ham are, David Moyes. I think it's his second last game.
Yeah.
I think they'll want to send him off.
Yeah, well, obviously they want to send him off. They got rid of him. Or you mean from a player point of view?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him leave on a high note.
Yeah. I see a draw on this one. I'm going to have to say 1-1.
4.6 odds for a draw, so that's definitely an interesting one. I'm going to go for 2-0 West Ham.
Okay. Wolves, Crystal Palace. I'll tell you what I love in this. Just the form of Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace with Elise. Man, that guy's a talent, eh? 70 million.
He's really good, yeah.
Arsenal rumored to be in talks with him or chasing him, but I think there's going to be a lot of clubs that are going to be in chase to get that guy. What a bargain if you can get. What do you think he'll go for? Well, I know it's 70 million. Don't start with that. He's not going for anything under 85.
I think that's his release clause, so they don't really have a choice.
No, but if other teams come in, you don't have to be the first team to come in with 70. I'm sure that they still negotiate if someone comes in.
I think as long as the teams meet that clause, then that's what they have to pay. Because there's not unless then Elise starts choosing between who gives him the better wage offer.
Well, why would he do that? I mean, everybody does that.
Yeah.
So it's not, just because you pony up 70 million.
I think if you didn't have a release clause, you'd definitely be close to 100.
Well, this is what I think. I mean, these guys talk behind the scenes, and it's like, okay, well, look, we can get 100 for you. We'll give you 10 million of that.
Considering if you look at Jack Grealish going for 100 a couple of years ago, Elise is very similar to that at Palace, even though he's not English and homegrown. Yeah. I think you could see him being in that ballpark.
Yeah. Look, Crystal Palace look like one of the best teams in the Premier League right now when they're playing. I love them to turn over Wolves away.
I think also for 2.51 odds, that's
not a bad bet.
That's not bad at all. I agree. I think Wolves got demolished by Man City. They haven't really done much recently. I agree. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Palace.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 Palace. I think just the way they're playing, wouldn't want to bet against them either. That would be a great game if Man City had to play Palace in the last game of the season, just in terms of the form of the teams. And
I mean, they've had some good results against City, so it would definitely be interesting.
So the Palace is the team you don't want to play right now.
Agreed.
Nottingham, Chelsea. Chelsea still chasing a European title. They got 3 games left.
They made a good comeback. They've had a good run of form. It looked like for a while that they were going to back-to-back 10th place finishes.
Yeah.
Now,
Look, I'm still not convinced over Chelsea. And they're away. Nottingham have everything to play for. 1 point secures. Does it? No, not really.
I think they need a win.
They need a win to
sure.
secure.
Yeah.
But if they got a draw, that means
That Luton will still be in there.
If they won 2 games in a row, yeah. Look, I see this playing out to a draw as well.
Okay. I'm going to back a Chelsea away win. I like 2.05 odds for Chelsea to win. I also think that they've built it up since they got embarrassed by Arsenal. I think it's 4 games in a row now. They haven't lost. They beat Spurs, drew to Villa, came back against Villa, beat West Ham. So I think that they're playing well. I'm going to go for 2-0 Chelsea a win. Yeah, that's what I'm
going to go Nottingham 1-1. No, I disagree, but that's the beautiful thing about Constitution and all that wonderful stuff. Then Arsenal. Man United versus Arsenal.
I think that it's similar to when Liverpool play Man United. Whenever Arsenal and Man United have that rivalry where form isn't really taken into account when these teams play each other. However, Manchester United are very bad right now. I think they are struggling with the injuries. They got absolutely destroyed. Yeah, they got destroyed by Palace.
They drew with Burnley and gave up 2 against Sheffield.
Yeah, and they fought back against Sheffield. They were lucky.
Drew against Bournemouth. Drew in the FA Cup against Coventry.
They're on a very bad run of form, and I think their injuries are. Against Palace they had to play Casemiro at centre back because of their injuries.
Yeah.
So if Casemiro and Johnny Evans are at the back against Arsenal, it's going to be a very, very long day for Erik ten Hag, I think.
Well, name me the last time that Arsenal gave up a goal in the Premier League. Can you do that?
Villa?
Brentford,
okay.
Yeah. March 24th.
Okay.
How crazy is that? Look, with Man United playing the way they do, but they should get up for this one.
I think...
I remember the games in the early 2000s, Arsenal, Man United. You wouldn't get a bigger fixture in the Premier League. You certainly do now. But look, I just like Arsenal as well. They've got a hold serve. And they'll know, this game, if something happens at Fulham, Craven Cottage, and that they could basically they could win the league, couldn't they?
This could be, I think, also, this is,
they couldn't win the league, but they could pretty much get, they could have one hand firmly on the cup and a finger grabbing, so that would...
I think, this also, I think, is Arsenal's toughest game of the last tough game they have this season. I think the other second loss is Everton. Their loss is Everton.
Yeah, but
there's
no easy games except Burnley and Sheffield in the Premier League.
Unless you're Man United, Burnley's pretty difficult. Sheffield as well.
Absolutely agree. Okay, I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
I agree. Maybe I'll give Man United 1 goal. 2-1.
Okay. Aston Villa.
Liverpool.
Can you give me some thoughts on that?
I'm going to say it early. I'm going for a draw. I think that Aston Villa's home form, not as good as it was in the first half of the season, but still really good. I just think that Liverpool, although they played well against Tottenham for the first 60, 70 minutes,
this is a game, truly that nothing to play for.
Both teams,
Liverpool's getting their 54 million for finishing third, and Aston Villa's getting their 51 million for finishing fourth. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I think they both are confirmed 4th and 3rd already.
I hope that it's a spectacle for the spectators. And Arsenal score for fun. Aston Villa score for fun. And Liverpool can do the same. Maybe they get into the change room and they say, look, into the tunnel, and say, look, let's make this a 10-9 game. Get Salah to score 7. Rip it away from the Norwegian.
Salah's always my fantasy league captain. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. I thought you said your fantasy. I'm glad you said captain. Because we've been worried about you lately. Ever since Liverpool came apart at the seams, you've been a bit transitioning. Yeah.
It has been a transition phase from potentially winning to ending 3rd.
Yeah. Have you finished your therapy?
Ongoing. We'll see.
Okay.
They still have 2 more weeks to win it. So
I see this game being 3-3. Something to it's what do you say to a team that has absolutely nothing to play for other than the fans? And what do you say to another team that has absolutely nothing? I guess for
Liverpool, it's Jurgen Klopp's second last game.
Who cares?
So I think maybe that will psych them up a little bit. But yeah, that's why I'm going for a draw. I just don't think Liverpool are good enough to keep Villa out. And yeah, I think it will also be a high-scoring game, but I'm going to go 2-2.
Well, these teams have scored 154 collective goals over the year. So let's hope that we see a lot of goals on Monday. Okay, I'm going to go with 3-3.
Me 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you kick off the City Spurs at Etihad, yeah?
At Spurs.
At Spurs.
I think I'm going to go for a City win. I don't see City losing again this season. And even though...
You've been saying that since the second show.
And I've been right 90% of the time.
Okay. Got me on that one. Jeez. I advise people to back Man City at about 50% return on their money. Put the houses down. You put your family's house down on it. Your parents' house down on it. I just... Fulham away, Tottenham away. Those aren't easy games.
I agree, they're not easy, but I think that Spurs... They showed against Liverpool that they have an attacking threat when they switch on, but they just concede goals way too easily. And
it's a hard game to predict right now. I'll tell you why. Because if Man City lose to Fulham or draw, look, I think something's going to happen between Fulham and Tottenham against Man City.
Okay.
Like something not good.
For Fulham and Tottenham or for Man City?
for Man City. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw in this game.
Okay. I think this will be the game that, if they were to slip up, it would be this one. But Spurs, too inconsistent. I think they can hurt City if they, have that last 20 minutes they had against Liverpool. If they play like that for 90 against City, definitely you can see them getting a result. But I think they just switch off. They're too vulnerable. I mean, Liverpool going into that game in terrible form, and they scored 4 in the first hour. So I think City, if they play, if Haaland comes again and plays well in the first 45, you could have a hat-trick again. It's that kind of game, I think. But I'm going to go for 3-1 City.
2-2. Who's next?
Brighton versus Chelsea.
Who cares?
Yeah. Brighton versus Chelsea. Also not really much going on there.
No. 1-1.
I agree.
Yeah.
1-1. And then I think it's Man United versus Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle?
Yeah.
I also agree with that. Yeah. I don't think Man United will win that game.
No, Man United are
I think their season's pretty much over.
Yeah, I think so as well. Anyway, there you have it. Take all those bets to the bank. But it should be an interesting, there's a couple of interesting games.
Yeah.
It's always a bit sad when the season's winding down and you got a lot of games that are meaningless. But I think that the Crystal Palace offers good value this weekend. And that's where I'm going to focus on. And I also love watching them play.
Yeah, they've been really good.
Also, we're watching Leeds playing Norwich in the playoffs.
And the playoffs,
Yeah. We bottled it in the last 6 games. So anyway, thanks, DJ.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks for coming in. Cheers.
Cool.